dear students, welcome you all back to the social class. We are dealing the economics chapter 4, globalization and the Indian economy chapter. So previous class we saw about how the productions are being interlinked, and we saw the role of MNC company in interlinking the productions. Now we'll see the foreign trade and the integration of market, foreign trade and how the integration of markets are happening. If you see, for long process we have been having the foreign trade which is happening in India. It is a long duration. If you go into a history book or a 9th standard history book, you will be knowing there was a silk route which has been developed where they had an no other means of transport. Only the walking is the mean of transport which has been used by them. Pilgrims, even the goods which have been travelled from Asia to other countries through the silk route only was happening. And later you can find that there was an explorers means who take long voyages and find out a new places. So seaways exploration was there where we had lot of different peoples who started having trade with India and the other countries. So this is how we saw that the trade has been introduced in India. So the trade routes are being developed in India in these means. So you might have seen about the trade connections in Asia, in India and Southeast Asia, and the markets of both East and the Western nation has expanded. Okay, it has taken a route of its own. So remember, the trade is an interesting aspect. It has attached or it has brought and connection with the people. So this trade has not only brought the goods from different country, even it brought the culture, even it brought the tradition, even it brought the different way of dressing among the peoples was also exchanged among the peoples. So initially the traders who has to come to the other country for selling the products and buying the products, they started developing a good relation with the nations. So that this good relation has still more encouraged them to have a bonding of the nations and trade. So this trade of international trade was not only for the goods and services, even it had still more other aspects, like it even helped the domestic producers. So who are called as domestic producers? You see, domestic producers are the producers who produce their own products and sell it in their own areas. Okay, so for example, a person might be there who's a pot maker, mud pot. Okay, so the pot maker may produce his own pot and he will sell it to his own village alone. So he's called as a domestic producer. And person who has been producing in India and is selling it in India alone is a domestic producer he is. Okay, so the nations were been restricting their own producers, like they are not able to go to the other country for selling. But when this foreign trade was being developing, you can find it has given an hand, it has encouraged the domestic seller to seller to sell his own products even to the other countries who's been very long in distance, like miles and miles of kilometers can also be reached by them. So this encouraged the domestic sellers to sell their own products in the international markets. So domestic markets reached the international markets also. This is how the international market has gained its own support. Then you can see the markets of this own country. Productions can sell their own produces not only in the market located with the country, even they were able to export it to the other countries which we saw. So we'll see a small example of it, that is about the Chinese production. You might be knowing the Chinese toys which have been really good in its own creation, right? So initially when this foreign trade was started, in India, there was only Indian toys which have been available. You might have seen like different toys. Like now you cannot see. If you go Google it and see Thanjavur Thalayatti Bommai and all will be there in India. If you go to Tanjore districts, you will find that, because with that mud only they will make, and it will be shaking its own body. So it will be very nice. So those kind of toys is also available. Even mud toys have been available. Even plastic toys were been available in India. So different varieties of toys were been available in India. But you know, these toys were been costly comparing to the foreign products. During that time, the foreigners, that means the Chinese, brought their own products over here. That is, toys were being brought. Because of that, you can find around 70 to 80 percentage of the toys which are being brought by Chinese were being bought by the Indians, because it was very cheaper and its features were being really good. You can find the Chinese toys were been blinking their eyes like that and all were there. When they had so many other aspects, like it was able to move its hand, rubber toys were being there. So different varieties of toys were being brought by the Chinese wins. So you can find the Chinese product which has been produced was able to reach India. See, it is not restricting China to sell its own product in their own nation alone. It is allowing them to bring it here also. So Chinese toys were being brought, and because of which can find the people started showing interest towards the foreign products also. So this had one drawback, that is the domestic producers were being affected, but these domestic producer can sell their products to the other country. So that is the thing that you can see here in this foreign trade. So in general, what happened because of this international trade is that it opened the traders, it opened for the transportation of goods and services, it opened for the goods to travel from one place to another, and you can find it is not restricted, and you are able to get multiple choices. Choice were being available in number, and comparatively price was also differing, and one product which has been produced in one country was able to compete with the other country. So because as a result of the foreign trade, you can find that it connected the international market, and because of international market, you can find the different countries having connection with each other. Okay, so this is the fine thing. Then we'll have a quick recap of it. So it is about the foreign trade and the integration of market. So foreign trade, how it integrated the people. So we have seen about these root system, how the trade were being developed from the 9th standard itself. That is the Silk Route was the prime source for the Indians to have trade with the other countries, through which the silk was being transported, silk was being taken, and other spices, even the cardamom, elaichi was also being transported. Okay, so these things have been transported, spices have been transported, pilgrims spread their own religious aspect through that means only. Later you can find that they had the seaway exploration, because of which sea routes were being developed in India. So this foreign trade, even this foreign trade was encouraging the peoples to have good exchange of knowledge, good exchange of culture, good exchange of dressing condition was also being done. And it did not stop with that alone, it even encouraged the domestic producers to sell their own products at the international markets. So domestic producers who produce products in their own country, in their own areas, so now they were able to reach miles and miles and reach the international markets for selling their own products. So this is another very good thing which you can see. So this international market still more encouraged the people to have more number of choices. Variety of products were being available. It was not restricted to one thing, as we saw already. If a single brand of t-shirt means you will have number of brands of t-shirts which will be available. So you go into the slipper shops, you will have number of brands slippers which are being available. It is all because of the foreign trade which has integrated the markets through all the nations. So example we saw about China. China has brought its own product of toy production in India, because of which the Indian products production has reduced, and the selling buying of China toy has increased a lot, and because of which you can find the domestic sellers were able to sell their products at the across countries. In general, you can find that the trade of goods and services has been encouraged, and it was being encouraged to sell it to the international market, and we were able to get multiple choice of products. This multiple choice of product along with the price comparison, and similar products are able to compete with one another in the international market because of the foreign trade. So as a result of this, the foreign trade has definitely encouraged the interaction, interrelation of the market that is happening between the nations. So this is what is about today's class, my dear students. Remaining we'll see in the next class. Thank you, my dear students.